Hello all, today going to talk and present you one device which I found on AliExpress, and it represents hidden gem to me. It is M2 NVMe SSD to PCI X1 converter. It is very cheap. However, does it work? Does it worth? And how it perform? Stay with me in this video to find out. Out there, we have many different adapters that can be used to adapt M2 drives to PCs that do not have M2 slots. These adapters can also help speed up our older computers. Today, I will test and demonstrate what you can expect from an M2 to PCI X1 adapter. For my initial test, I used a third-generation Intel i5 PC and installed the converter into the PCI X1 slot. Then, I inserted a 512 GB M2 NVMe drive into the adapter. This is PC where all tests will be performed, and later you will see some little newer and latest computers with same PCI X1 adapter. Let's proceed with the first test on this old computer. Don't worry, you don't need to watch all the tests while they are being performed. I understand that waiting for test results can be a bit tedious. After the first test, I will simply provide you with information about the PC where M2 being tested and the test results. So let's see how other SSD drives performs in same PC. I hope you know SATA standards, don't you? SATA 1 is the first generation SATA interface, and it runs at 1.5 gigabits per second, although the actual bandwidth throughput is up to 150 megabytes per second, due to 8B/10B encoding. SATA 2 is a second generation SATA interface, and it runs at 3.0 gigabits per second, although the actual bandwidth throughput is up to 300 megabytes per second, due to 8B/10B encoding. Third-generation SATA interfaces run with a native transfer rate of 6.0 gigabits per second. Taking 8B/10B encoding into account, the maximum uncoded transfer rate is 600 megabytes per second. 512 gigabytes SSD on SATA 2 port, 240 gigabytes SSD on SATA 3 port. This is next PC I use for testing, and here also you're going to see how PCI X4 SSD drive performs. 256 gigabytes Kingston SSD drive test in SATA 3 port, 1 terabyte SSD in SATA 6 port. Have to check, maybe it is connected to SATA 2 port. 256 gigabytes SSD drive in SATA 6 port PCI X4 SSD drive test. Now it is time to see how it performs in latest 12th generation PC. As you can see, speed in this latest PC is doubled. So conclusion is, yes, it's worth buying this converter even if you got newest PC with no additional M2 slot. Link to this converter is down in description, and this is how M2 NVMe drive performing in original M2 slot on motherboard. Please subscribe, like, and see you in next video.